According to some, there have been over 3,000 sightings of Sasquatch since the 1920s in British Columbia. Many of these sightings can be called into question if you scrutinize them. So the real question here is Sasquatch out there? Or is it a fable? Just a story, born of a legend? We aim to find out. That is our mission. This is actual footage of a majestic eagle. It is not artificial intelligence. But sooner than later, it will be impossible to tell if it is real or not. Many moons ago, we decided to look into the mystery of Sasquatch. After watching, reading, and hearing about the creatures, we needed to satisfy our own curiosity, to ascertain the truth, and only the truth. Beginning in 1998, we interviewed the late, preeminent journalist investigator John Green of Harrison Hot Springs, who had a lot to say about Sasquatch. He had some foot casts, and the most incredible quote was, "If a hunter is out there and sees a Sasquatch and has a rifle, take the shot." That was John Green. Today, our quest continues, traveling to over 500 locations where people have claimed seeing or encountering the Sasquatch. Are we skeptics? Somewhat, because there's so much nonsense and BS out there. This land is where we are from, British Columbia, Pacific Canada. It's where the stories began about the creatures, the forest beings, the forest spirits, through indigenous legends spoken long ago. Today in the mainstream, it's become kind of a joke. So many people jumping on board the Sasquatch train. Some want to pick your pockets, some are trying to bamboozle you, others want fame and recognition. We want the truth, and we assume many of you want the truth as well. We were raised just above the 50th parallel on a small island on the Pacific coast of Canada. Population between 400 and 600 depending on the season. No television, only books. Radio, yes, but that was sketchy. It was like living off-grid, as people would refer to it today. We bonded with the natives near us. It was a native village virtually next door. At the time it was called a reserve. The indigenous kids and us became fast friends, and some, to this day, are still like brothers to us, and sisters, I might add. Never talk about Sasquatch. We sat around campfires with the elders from our family and the native people, and they told us incredible things about the legend of the raven, the thunderbird, and so much more. We learned about fishing, hunting, hiking, and respecting all things in the forest, in the sea, and in the sky. Again, not much talk about the Sasquatch, except in a humorous fashion. Now think about that. We're in the land of Sasquatch. There are far too many people in the Sasquatch community enhancing or embellishing the native legends about Sasquatch, about the forest giants. To what end? For popularity, obviously, to raise their numbers, and it seems they have no shame. So many stories are just not true. Some of the stories that are told are in our neck of the woods, and so we know them to be false. Now, I'm not saying everyone is doing that, but there is a large number of people that want your attention and will stop at nothing to get it. Something that's been brought to our attention is sightings along the coast of British Columbia on the beaches, on the shoreline. If they're real, that would make sense because there's plenty of food here, just for the picking. Each and every year, in the province of British Columbia, people go out for a hike into the wilderness and become lost. Then, if they're fortunate enough, SAR will rescue them. That's search and rescue. Others are never found. Are they abducted by Sasquatch or aliens, as some would claim? We think not. This rugged environment is easy to become disoriented and completely lost. Losing your bearings in this environment is absolutely dangerous. For those people claiming there's a deep mystery here, people just vanishing, there are cases that are definitely linked to foul play, but the majority are just people being foolhardy. Recently, the question was put to us, what would we do if we encountered a Sasquatch? Well, first, we would be quite alarmed, likely afraid. Would we run? No. But what would we do if we encountered a creature 7 to 10 feet tall, large, dangerous looking, and shock? Absolutely. But that's never happened. And we wonder if it ever will. So many people have claimed sightings, yet for us, it's just so evasive, so vague. What have we done to not encourage the Sasquatch to say, hey, over here? Okay, I'm joking. But jokes aside, think about it. How would you react? Would you shoot it if you had a gun? We would not, unless of course it was threatening us. But according to some, firearms are useless against these creatures, so perish the thought. Maybe one day that will actually take place. Who knows? Anything's possible. But some things, to remind you, are definitely impossible. This could be one of those things. If you're among the people watching these videos that suggest people are going missing in national parks and provincial parks, I feel sorry for you, because you bought into the fear Because many of these cases, there's no real mystery. Some people want to get lost, others maybe encounter things they weren't expecting. So controlling your fear is essential. You must go into the forest with an open mind and be alert, not be high or drinking, none of those things. Your mind and body must be connected. You must be well nourished, hydrated, and keep your sanity. Do not let your imagination get too carried away. There are elements you have to watch for. Cougars and grizzly. They're opportunists. Grizzlies are very protective of their territory, and cougars, they might see you as easy prey. As for the Sasquatch getting you, we can't speak to that, because it's never happened to us, obviously. At this location between Princeton and Headley, British Columbia, people have claimed since the 1970s Sasquatch has been tossing things down at them. Rocks, even boulders. No one was killed. The last event was in 2019, allegedly. Now, in the small little town of Headley, we asked a few locals. They looked at us like we were crazy. But one old-timer said, "I remember that. But I have nothing to say to you." "Are you with the media?" And we explained, "No, we're not." He said, "I'm not telling you anything," and walked away. For those with a keen interest in Sasquatch, no doubt you've heard of loggers, lumberjacks being harassed by Sasquatch in the forest. The thing is, it's simply false. We've only met one logger who was a friend of ours, George Ray, who claimed he had seen a trio of Sasquatch up in Butte Inlet way back when. And for the record, we have talked to dozens of loggers and not one has come forward and said anything about Sasquatch. World-famous Sasquatch hotspot, Harrison Hot Springs. Once a year, they hold Sasquatch Days. That's when the indigenous people gather, have canoe races, drumming, dancing, food. It is an incredible family event, and definitely you want to check it out. You can Google Sasquatch Days in Harrison. They have a Sasquatch mascot, who to us looks a little bit thin. Perhaps he needs more salmon in his diet. Thanks, buddy. He was a cool guy, by the way. There are many esoteric beliefs when it comes to Sasquatch. Over the years, we have silently conducted a survey to determine precisely what people do believe about these creatures. We have discovered most people in the hardcore belief realm, we'll call it, believe also in alien abduction, hauntings, ghosts, and many conspiracies of all types. That is not to suggest people are just gullible or stupid or weird, just more susceptible to believing things depending on the information, how convincing that data is, even though it may be false. We have met people with conviction that is so incredible, so deep, that we know absolutely they experienced something, but what? Did they actually see a Sasquatch? Maybe. For us, we have come across things that are truly perplexing, like this. But we're not going to tell you Sasquatch did that, like others. You don't have to be a scientist or have an interest in earth sciences to see the changes in the environment. They're stark. The flora and fauna is hurting. Some species are on the brink of extinction, some already gone. Yet within that, the Sasquatch is prevailing. Stateside particularly. Anywhere there's a forest or a park, the Sasquatch are there, according to some. Is it true? The short answer is no, it's not. So if you really care so much about the Sasquatch, you must care about the environment, the earth, where they live, supposedly. Now we're on the brink of the forest fire season. Actually, it's already begun in this country, in Manitoba, Alberta, and northern British Columbia. We ask you this: are you ready? Are you ready for changes you've never seen before? Because they're coming. And if you love the Sasquatch, you have an interest in the Sasquatch, then pay attention to these clips. Yeah, this is real. And this is nothing compared to what is coming. Most of the wildfires are caused by lightning, some by human folly. The creatures are adapting, some can. And there are plants that have not seen direct sunlight in hundreds of years, and they come back with gusto. Wildfires are natural. They've always been, except they're getting more intense, much more intense, and larger. After the wildfire, there is some beauty within this stark environment. This may sound ridiculous to some of you, but we began to realize long ago that some of these critters actually recognize us, especially the raven. And once in a while we give them a treat like a peanut butter sandwich or a piece of fruit. And believe me, they're grateful, and they follow us. Their ability to recognize humans is uncanny and very real. Although we don't suggest you feed wild animals any, it is amazing that animals will be in your presence and not feel threatened. If someone makes contact with us, and we determine or feel they're being sincere about their experience, we will go to that location, as we've done here. We have been here morning, noon, and night on several locations because people claim, not one or two people, a lot of people, this is an area where a tribe of Sasquatch live and breed. Their words, not mine. What about that? Perhaps people are hearing these strange sounds of Sasquatch breeding. So who really knows what the mating habits of the Sasquatch are? Do they mate in the spring, the fall, or all the time? Where do they give birth? Is the government monitoring these creatures, as so many have suggested? Not surprising, of course. Okay, enough preaching. So what are we going to be up to in the immediate future? There's going to be some nocturnal adventures, and we're going to travel to areas where people have claimed encounters. There's going to be considerably less talking, more field research, some surprises, a couple contests, and certainly we want your input. If you live in British Columbia and you want to have an adventure with us, tell us why, who you are, and assure us you're not a crazy person. And just maybe, you'll be with us on a great adventure into the world that is Sasquatch, the crazy, zany, and sometimes mundane world of the Bigfoot. We appreciate each and every person that comes to this channel and watches this content. It means a great deal to us. We will never bamboozle you, never have our hands out. We don't want fame, we don't want fortune. We simply want the truth. And we would assume you as well want the truth. Thank you for watching, and remember, eyes open, cameras ready.